Hello. The next part would be we're going to pin your sleeve into your armhole. But first of all, we need to check your armhole. And what I would like you to do, which is I already done it, is along your armhole line, which is mine is in red. Yours one probably would be in your tucking, tailor tucking. Unless you change your armhole, then you will place your, white tokens you will have. I will also would like you, if you haven't done it, to tack along your canvas, along your armhole line, but through the canvas together in order to hold your canvas so that all the canvases will be behave as one. As you see that through, I went through all the layers and go tucked all around in the same line as I had before. So in order to make sure all my canvases are together. So you put your hands underneath and you just tuck that through. Also, I'm going to already cut some part of my seam allowance. Cut your seam allowance on your, along your armhole, which is I left 1.5. I've done it in stages, so we've got 2.5, then I cut 1 centimeter, and then so now I'm going to also just to 3 more, and that includes canvases as well. The one thing you don't cut is your lining, so be careful with that so you don't snip by accident your lining. So your lining's still inside here. So don't cut your lining, leave it. We will do that later. Also, what I've done is I cut my seam allowance along the I cut my seam allowance along, so you can see that, along my sleeve. And with the sleeve, again, I left it 1.5 centimeters from my machining line. So that is that. So in order for me to easy to insert sleeve into armhole, it's nice if your seam allowance are matching. Okay, so it would be much easier to do that. And of course, you have to do that after when you've done your alterations, after the fitting. At the fitting, you identify if any other alterations need to be done, and you do your alterations first, and then you cut your seam allowance if it's obviously necessary. In this case, in our case, it's 2.5 is too much, so we just cut it to 1.5. So I've got the marking point on the sleeve here, and we also have another balance point which is underneath, underarm. But the most important balance point is on the coat itself. So you've got one at the back. If you don't have it, take it from your pattern instructions. From your pattern, because you will have that when you drafted your patterns. If you don't have your patterns with you from instruction, it will tell you where to place. But to be honest, it's kind of like in line with your seam here. So you've got your side seam here, and it's in line with the seam. And then you've got a front balance point. Again, that's you should tell, from your pattern, and it tells you what the height of that. If not, again, check your instructions, and it tells you how much from the bust it should be. Now, you're applying your sleeve, and I'm going to try to fit in my sleeve between those two buttons. So my top sleeve will be between this balance point, between two balance points. I will try to insert my top sleeve, and I'm placing that balance point which is on the sleeve. I'm placing on the center of the shoulder, and then over the red line. Okay. The most important that your seam, it doesn't matter. So if I see here, that's your machining line. Sorry, can you see that? That's here's your machining line, your two first one. That's your machining line. So we're folding our head of the sleeve on that machining line. A lot of students, for some reason, just hold it because it folds there, and they will just fold it like that. And it's a lot of you cut the head off. So it's so important that you follow your machining line, which is mine is red. Your one probably would be, you know, the color of your top fabric. Okay, so I'm folding that. So if you can put your sleeve or your coat on the mannequin, do it on the mannequin's easier, or on someone. So, so it's easy to do that. If you don't have any of those, just try to distribute your sleeve between two balance points. So I'm going to pin that here, so that holds it in place. Now I'm going to pin my seam, which is back seam, and matching with my balance point. So it's important to do that. Again, but remember that red line, I have red line, yours one probably would be the color of your fabric. So just red line with red line, slightly over so we don't see it. And then you pin that to your armhole, so like that. And then I go to that side and I'm matching that, take my lining out of the way, and then pin to my balance line red, you know, which is machining line with a machining line. The head of the sleeve with armhole. Can you see that? So pin that together. Now you've got quite a lot of fabric here, but not consistent all the way through. So just going to distribute that amount of the fabric. By pinning that. So as you see, and I wrote so it stays in place, and then I'm going to pin that. So the most of the fabric will be is the top of the head of the sleeve. And just very nicely distributing. And what I usually do, I do pin and then I check, and if it doesn't sit properly, I take it pin out and pin it again. So it's kind of like make it right. Okay, so I've done the head of the sleeve, then I continue and I go under the sleeve, underarm. And underarm, we don't want extra fabric. So it's important that you place your sleeve quite straight. Make sure you don't pin your lining, so lining is not in the way. Okay, so just continue pinning. And sometimes it happens that you need to let it out or take your name, but I think the base pattern instructions I gave you, it's the sleeve, it fits quite well. Now here, so it's quite important, I'm just going to pin that here. It's quite important that you, because it's empty of the fabric, so you've got quite looseness here. So it's important that you don't pin your sleeve too tight. So what I usually do, just lift my shoulder, the head of the sleeve, and then place the pin so it's not, see that's quite straight, and then place the pin to the sleeve. So again, see that? So lift that up in order for me to place it, the pin. So the most important is that it doesn't have any gathering in that area. So that area have to be really nice and straight. Yeah. Okay, so just going to continue pinning on the arm. And then I check my sleeve, the position of the sleeve. Okay. So I've done that, and it looks very good. But I had experience with the sleeves, and I think that sleeves goes too much forward, and therefore what I'm going to do, because it's easier to undo, so I'm going to unpick again, and when I mean, is take all the pins out, and I'm going to shift my sleeve, my head of the sleeve towards the front. So instead of being, so at the moment is more goes to the front like that. So I want to be more slightly at the back, and in what I need to do is to move my balance point here about half of 6 millimeters to half centimeter above my balance point, so that will slightly move, and then drop that point here slightly lower. Okay, so somewhere in the between. So that way, so that seam here would not be so so high, and therefore it will sit more better in the right position. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you the final result in a next video. So I'm going to repin it and shift, so which is quite important for you to observe how you pin your sleeve, and also know how to correct. So if your sleeve goes upwards, so to the front, so that means you need to move it back, slightly back. So that means you need to pin your sleeve to the front. So if your sleeve sits more at the back, that means you need to, the head of the sleeve, turn it to the back. Okay, so that way is the position, the cuff and the position of the sleeves will move one way or another. So that's very, very important for you to know. Okay, so although the balance points are helping, you still need to go with the body of the person, with the body of the shape, and how the posture as well. So it's all to do with the posture, and that's why slightly we're just readjusting our sleeve. Okay, I hope that's the video was helpful. So I'm going to slightly readjust my shoulder, sorry, the sleeve. I'm going to readjust my sleeve, and then I'll show you in the next video what I've done. See you, bye.